Sports, it's in the game.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to RPM. It's Tuesday tonight, and I'm covering First Division once again, and it's time for the season finale. It's absolutely flown around. It's time for round 12 of First Division Season 5 around Imola tonight. We have 19 corners, 10 to the left and 9 to the right, and this track is one of few counterclockwise on the F1 calendar, just the one DRS zone heading down the main straight from turns 19 all the way down to turn 2. Quite a long straight, although not much of it is actually straight. So while we wait for the lobby, and while I wait for an invite, hopefully I get one in the next 7 minutes, otherwise that'll be entertaining. We've absolutely flown through this, and it doesn't seem like that long ago since we were opening up the season in those first few rounds, and now all of a sudden we reach the final round. So 12 rounds all said and done. We have 2 championships up for grabs still this evening, both the drivers, which is contested by 3 drivers, and the constructors, which has 1 point in it between 2 constructors teams. So let's take a look at the grid for now. What am I doing here? That's not what I want to do. Let's take a look at the standings then. So Matty in the Haas leads. He's had a great stint of form since the Singapore Grand Prix in round 7. He hasn't finished any worse than second in those races, 4 wins. However, he lost out to Goran Potner after making a small mistake in the barrier this time last week around Baku. So he has a 32-point gap behind 32-point gap ahead of Goran Potner in the championship. So not over yet. Neither driver can afford a poor result or to DNF, so the pressure is well and truly on. Then we have Danos, who had an unfortunate time last week, and looking at that, unless he secures every single point on offer tonight, even then I think that's only enough to tie with Matty. So Matty would have to DNF, and I believe Danos would have to get the fastest lap, pole position and the race win in order to secure that. So costly DNF, the first of his season. So very, very unfortunate. Not many drivers have been so successful. I'm looking down now, I see Sinful, the only other driver to complete every single lap of the season so far. So we'll watch out with him to see how he gets on. But he hasn't managed to get on the podium. His best result is a P5. That came around Bahrain, so a decent result there. Let's see if he can get himself on the podium, the no assists driver for Mercedes. And then looking further down the grid, we're going to have eyes on Zabiaka and Leaky as they battle further down the grid. to help the teams secure the Constructors' Championship. And that, as I said before, is very, very close indeed. Mercedes still in with a shot, I believe. But again, there would have to be some DNFs involved there. But realistically, it's all between the Aston Martin and the Haas teams. 1 point in it, as you can see there. 458 and 457 points. So a very, very consistent season from both of those teams. And we do have the live standings, which have improved from last week. So you'll see those as we get through the session later this evening. Looking further down then, we've got battles in the midfield as well. P4 still up for grabs. Ferrari and even McLaren still close enough to punch a hole in that and move up the table. But realistically, it's P1 and P2 and it's P4 and P5 up for grabs. 4 points the difference between Red Bull and Ferrari. And then, you know, not that there's necessarily any glory to this, but P9 and P10, one team will finish last. And Alpine are in with a chance. They're not too far behind, only 9 points off Williams in P9, so they could change their fortunes around with some good points tonight. But as we say, all eyes on the two teams at the top. Mercedes also look to be, well, they have cemented their position in P3, so it's a top 3 finish for them guaranteed. In the All Tiers though, that is not over yet, with 6 drivers in each team competing this week over the next 3 nights. Ferrari are in a good position. You know, what's that, 124 point margin between McLaren and Ferrari. But it's not over yet. We never know what's going to happen. We never know who's going to DNF, who's going to bring home the points, who may have a surprise result. It might not be as plain sailing as you might expect tonight. Mercedes still within the hunt as well. They're going to push for McLaren in P2. But again, the gap down towards Red Bull, similar to the first division table there. Red Bull sort of would struggle, I think, to catch up into the top 3, but still on. Haas, regardless of the points that they've hauled in this division, struggling down there in mid-table, well clear of Aston Martin in P6. Could still gain on Red Bull for P4, so there's still a lot of changes that could go on tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like Alpine are more or less out of it. They're going to finish last by the looks of things. But it's all well on from P7 down to P9. Could be some shifts in the order as we head through the week. Obviously, the championship tomorrow night, I think Luke's on that. And then Jones on Thursday covering the Premier Division. That title's been wrapped up. I believe the championship title is still on. And the Constructors in both divisions, in all 3 divisions, I think is also still on the cards. So as we see, I've timed this as perfectly as I could, more or less. Now let's hope the lobby, let's see how many are in the lobby. 13. Let's see how many guys we have in the attendance. Are we waiting for many more? Let's see, we've had a few guys decline. Oh, Leaky, crucially there, Leaky unable to attend, so Matty drives the Haas on his own, and we're looking for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, so we're missing 1 driver and then we'll be underway. But Leaky, I did not know that Leaky will not be racing tonight. So if we take another look then at the Constructors, it's all on Aston Martin. All they have to do is accumulate enough points to outrun Matty. Now if Matty can keep a hold of the Constructors on his own, then that is a very good result indeed. So that's not ideal to see, especially in the season finale. It would have been nice to have a fuller grid. 14's not too bad though. Let's take a look in chat. The numbers slowly coming up. People are entering. We've got Kieran and Danos and Zabiaka. Yeah, Danos giving good luck to his fellow competitors. Good luck to Goran Potner and Matty. Yeah, good stuff. And Zabiaka's in with us as well. Kieran, good luck to the McLarens and in organic for the final race of the season. Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to everyone. Let's hope we can avoid as many safety cars as we had around Baku last week, because that was yeah, that was a little bit questionable. Now, I'm not entirely sure why we aren't readying up, to be perfectly honest. I'm a little bit brutal like that, but if you're not here by the time, then you should just kind of just tough. So we hang around then, and we wait for the session to start. Next season, I'll probably start streaming just a few minutes later, and maybe miss the opening laps in the opening phase of qualifying, just so I don't have to sort of fill in, let's say, as we're going around. Okay, apparently we aren't going to wait, so good to go. We've had no word from Sinful, so I think we're just going to crack on. And yeah, we're just going to crack on with the race. So, I'll be underway shortly. I've got my beer. Anyone else, cheers to you as well. And yeah, I'll be back once the session starts. I'll definitely be putting this off next season. I'll push it back a few minutes. Okay, we are in the pit lane in Imola. Exciting times. And as you can see, it's an even smaller grid than we would have expected. Only 13 drivers tonight. That will reduce our chances of a safety car, thankfully. Which is always good news. Prost. Yes, indeed. I will enjoy my beer. Okay, so here we have a first car out on track. I believe that is an Alpine. Yes, it is. So let's get on board with Ivor, who leads us around for the first lap of the evening, which is good stuff, good stuff. And the Haas of, oh, it's not a Haas, it's an Alfa Romeo. That's Rusty, I believe, just the one Alfa Romeo. At least it's easier to differentiate between some cars when there's a smaller grid. Obviously, we're missing 6 of the drivers tonight, so... And they all head out most of the grid. A little option for a tow around here. Not as severe as Baku, for example, from last week, or you know, Monza. But, yeah, an opportunity for a tow out of turn 19. Down towards a Tamburello chicane of turns 2 and 3. Can't imagine too much coordination around there tonight, though. But we're right on board with Ivor, nonetheless, as he heads down through Turns 14 and 15. Down towards the, what's this one called again? Ravazza, I think. I'm going to have to test my knowledge again tonight, but the Ravazza, I believe it is. And let's go then. He enables his ERS, and he enables DRS, and gets himself away. He takes a wide line, and he heads down towards turn 2. He can look to brake just after the 100-meter board, which he does, and gets it tucked in nicely. Doesn't use all the track on the left, but runs wide on the right, carrying as much speed as he can. Now, a little bit of a lift and a dab on the brakes as he head through the left-right chicane, down towards the Tulsa hairpin, and he's gone a little bit deep there. Not too bad, it's alright for his first lap. He's just got to bank a time on the board. And now the Pirotella. Left-hander, one of the most complex sections on the track here. Flat right-hander, difficult braking zone, straight line the braking. Be careful on the traction. The car sort of slides away from you toward the left there. And now the Oriente Alta chicane, very difficult. You want to take a lot of apex, a lot of curb on both the entry and the exit curb. Basically trying to launch the car over those curves, and now downhill braking just before the 50-meter board. Got it tucked in nicely. And back up through the gears. Let's see what the first time is going to be posted around here then. It's a 1:18.1. And the next car to come across the line is going to be Rusty. He punches in at 1:20, so he's made a mistake somewhere. The Mercedes of Danos immediately goes 2 seconds quicker, or 1.5 seconds quicker, and Callum a 17.7. So Danos clear in those initial laps by quite a margin. The Mercedes driver putting in a very, very good time, 1:16.858. That might take some beating, to be fair, especially as the track warms up, as the cars head around and lay more rubber down. Come the third lap even, those times will be getting smaller and smaller. In the meantime, Matty, the championship rival, the championship leader, posts a time just 2 tenths behind, so not quite good enough for pole position in these early stages of qualifying, but still a good enough time, less than a tenth away from the 16s. Let's see then who's next to cross the line. I believe is that Snellhenk on his way on a lap. He's on a lap, so let's follow him. McLaren driver. We've got an Alpine, I believe, about to cross the line. That might be either boxing, yes it is, so it's those cars heading in there now. The Aston Martin is about to set his first time, I believe. Let's see who it's going to be. Has he made a mistake? Has he backed out here? No, he hasn't. I believe the Aston Martin boxed as well, so no times from either of those drivers yet. Matty's coming in as well. Jones, I believe, is right behind him here. No, it's not Jones, it's his teammate. It's Callum, he's coming into the pits. Let's see what Snellhenk's done then. DRS tightens the line, and Snellhenk gets a 1:18.5, good enough for P6, and now P7 is in, was it inorganic? Yeah, as inorganic crosses the line to take that place, and then someone else has come across the line. The Aston Martin of Zabiyaka, a 1:18 flat, very, very satisfying indeed. He posts a time good enough for P5, so knocks either inorganic and Snellhenk down the order. I believe that is everyone done. Is this Jones? Is he about to start his lap? Yes, he is. Perfect time. And here he goes then. Dr. Jones himself heading down towards turn 1 then. He slams on the brakes, closes that rear wing, and gets it tucked in nicely through Tamburello. Now up towards the Villeneuve. It's not really a chicane, but the Villeneuve left-right hander. And up the hill towards Toast. That's right on board. Let's see how he gets on. Does he get it tucked in? He's missed the apex a little bit there, but he's kept the minimum speed is okay. And now up the hill. Let's see how much speed he carries. He's going to have the best grip out of anyone who's driven so far. The last guy to set a lap time. Whether that's a plan or whether he's just a little bit late to the party, we're not too sure. He should have enough time to do all 3 laps at this stage, so it might work well for him if he can get around and be the final car to cross the line, making the use of the track temps, and he doesn't take enough on the entry and takes a little bit too much on the exit, and that costs him. He's facing the wrong way on the exit there. Let's see how he does. He'll definitely beat Rosa even. Foot to the floor, plenty of DRS to remain, and DRS open. Jones goes P7 with a 17.9, just inside the 18s by just shy of 200ths of a second. So there's the first run then. The first runs are done. We've got the new guys heading out on track. We've got Callum, who has started his lap, and who is that? We've got Zabayaka, who's spun, unfortunately, and he's got time to get it around again. Goran Potner is getting out the way of the Haas, who isn't flying. Matty is preparing for his second lap. We're right on board with that as the rest of the cars come out for their second run. So Jones is a little bit off the schedule here. I think he's going to have to quickly get in and quickly get out. He's going to be a good 45 seconds off these guys in terms of by the time he gets back out the pit lane. Maybe a minute behind, so he'll be pushing it fine. I'm sure he'll be okay. We've got 2 cars very close together there, the Alpha Tauri and the Aston Martin boxes, so the Alpha Tauri can go on his lap. Let's watch Matty then and see how he improves. He'll look to get into the 16s, and he'll obviously look to take pole position, and more importantly that pole position point, the single point that you take in RPM. Gets it nicely, rides both curves very well and keeps it tight to the left. Good lap so far. Sector 1 line is just before Tosa hairpin, so we'll see how far he's gone wide there as he invalidated. No, he's kept it together, but he's only up by half a tenth, less than half a tenth. So he's really got to get it together as he heads through Sector 2 now. Can he improve in this downhill section? Tricky section again, he's gone wide, and that's invalid, so a poor second lap from Matty. He's going to have to probably box again now. And then it's up to him whether he wants to go back out on those tyres or risk using his final laps fresh set. Obviously then if he does a third lap, he'll have to come back out on these tyres anyway, so it's probably best to just go in, recharge a battery and go back out. Let's just see what he does though. Lovely shot of him coming over the blind crash there. I don't think he's going to have enough recharge to go again. Is he going to box? No, he's going for it again. So let's ride on board again then. It'll be very, very touch and go with the ERS, I think, by the end of the lap. Most drivers have about 20% left by the end, and he only had 7 to start with. So the final chicane, he might lack power coming out of the final corner, but we'll ride on board and see. Nonetheless, he heads through Tamburello. Never mind, this is Villeneuve. And he's gone wide again. Same place. This time he's up a tenth though, so it hasn't cost him as much as it did last time. Let's see, he's got to keep it on the road, and he hasn't. He's done more or less the same 2 mistakes 2 laps running, so he's definitely going to have to box now. That leaves the door open for Danos to take pole position, and he is on his outlap now. Let's see if anyone's flying. Rusty must have just finished his lap. He's out of ERS. Zabayaka is about to start a lap, and who was that who's just gone up the table? Snellhenk has posted a time good enough for P4. Still 2 tenths away from the 16s, so not quite close enough for pole position. Still just under half a second off pole position, so that's probably not going to be on for him tonight. Ivor has invalidated and has no ERS, so he'll be boxing as well, I would imagine, at the end of this lap. Let's see who else we've got. Who's crossing the line? No one's crossing the line coming out of the final corner. Who else we got? Inorganic, where's he? He's coming down just behind Ivor as well now. Ivor boxes. Inorganic will be going on his lap. Is this Danos about to cross the line now? No, he's about to start a lap. That's right on board. And it's either Callum or it's Jones right in behind him. I imagine it's Callum. It is Callum. Jones is in the pit lane. So, Danos, the only driver in the 16s. Will he improve? He nearly loses it there, ever so slightly. I missed his sector time there. I was looking down at the chat, so I have no idea if he's up or not. He doesn't have any traffic ahead, so he's going to have a clean lap. And we'll catch him in a moment as he heads out of Aqua Minerale and powers himself down towards the Variante Alta chicane. Let's see then, is Danos up or down? He's just shy of 2/10 up, so a great lap so far. That'll put him in the 16.6s. And there's yet more time to find as he heads down the hill into the Rivazza even. Oh, and he runs wide. That's going to cost him time. It's not enough front of box though. And he takes 3/10 of his time. It's a 16.5. Good lap with time to find as well there. The Alfa Romeo getting nicely out the way. And we've got a flying car. Who is that there? Is that Inorganic? It is Inorganic, who has no ERS. So he is on his in-lap. Who else is coming around now? We've got Goey on his out-lap as well. He's going to let Danos by even though he's on his in-lap. So sportsmanly from him there. And let's see who else we've got. The Aston Martin heading around as well as that Goran partner. That will be a good lap to ride on board with. I think is he flying now? Yeah, ERS is active, so Goran partner is flying. Let's see then. He hasn't made too much of an improvement. Half a tenth down at the moment. Keeps it together on the exit there. And through Aqua Minerale. Down towards the Alta chicane once again. He sets a purple sector 2. And he keeps it on the track. Very neat, very tidy. Again, I missed his Delta time. With the purple sector 2, you'd think he's improved. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be half a second's worth of time to take pole position? We'll ride on board, off board, and we'll see. As he punches it out the final corner, he keeps it valid. It's not enough for pole position. It's a 10th and a half better. But that's only as good as Danos' first lap. So Matty still in P3. He hasn't invalidated again, has he? He may well have done. Not an awful lot of time remaining in this session. It's going to be the final chance for Matty to take that all-important pole position point. Could be the difference maker come the end of the 36 laps around this circuit. You may have noticed that little emoticon pop up earlier. That's work from Danos, who's made us some little buttons. So as I always now say, remember, if you guys are watching in the stream, try and leave us a like. And for those of you that aren't subscribed, even though I would imagine most are, do that as well. Trying to get the numbers up ahead of Season 6. Let's see then. Matty heads around on what will be his final lap, his final qualifying lap of Season 5. He's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. I count 7 cars ahead of him. You may or may not catch up with all of them. But the guys are going to have to be attentive. The first one is the Alfa Romeo, out the way nicely. This is a better lap. He's much more in control of this. Track is ramping up. 2.5 tenths up. That's not going to be enough for pole position yet, but that's only the first sector. He's got a lot left to gain. He might even get... yeah, he's going to get Goran partner if he keeps it together. We've got a car off, not out, but a Red Bull off at turns 2 and 3. He's going to slipstream. He sends the AlphaTauri into a little bit of a panic there. He's nearly 3/10 up. He's kept it valid. He's set the fastest sector 2. He gets his foot to the floor. He's not quite close enough for pole position. But if he nails this braking zone and nails the exit, he could take it. He needs 2/10 in these final 2 corners. And that was very tidy as well. That was very tidy indeed. He's going to bang open DRS, keep it tight to the line. And it's not good enough for pole position. So Danos will take pole position. Jones has retired and Rusty's retired. Are they separate incidents or are they together? That's right on board with Snellhank. Can see what's happened to Jones here. He's just hit the wall on the exit of turns 4, I believe that is. And found himself in the barrier. So I spoke too soon about all the drivers keeping it together as these guys head around on their final laps. So Jones might be in danger of starting toward the back of the grid if these guys behind him improve on the final laps. Callum hasn't had time. Ooh, now that was close. He was a second away. He wasn't going to make it to the line, so it's a good idea to come in, but he was very close to being able to go on another lap. So Callum's finished. And Organic is about to come across the line. He could move Rusty down. He's 3/10 off. Does it tell me what he's on? No, it doesn't. Let's see what an Organic can do then. Oh, he didn't have a very good lap. Unfortunately, second down. Sabiyaka is finished also. So the top 4 are all finished. So that is settled. Danos takes those points for pole position. Matty in P2, Goran Potner P3, Snellhen, good result from him in P4. Zabiyaka looks like he'll take P5, yes he will, and Ruza boxes as well. So there's the grid. Jones and Rusty don't lose out on any positions. They'll be counting the lucky stars for that one. P6 and P10 for those 2 guys respectively. As we wait for the session to end, a few more drivers making their way into the pits. We've got Rusty. Is it Rusty? Is that Rusty's AI? It must be Rusty's AI. It's not Spivey, is it? That is Spivey. Oh, and I've just noticed there's no Ferraris on track tonight, I believe. Yeah, no Ferraris on track. So the constructors, the all tiers constructors, it's just got a little bit easier for those guys in behind the teams like McLaren and Mercedes. Obviously we've only got one McLaren here tonight, but he's posted a good time, so if he can get in the top 5, that will be good points to help the McLaren boys, my lot, come along and try and ruin the Ferrari party, which I'll be trying to do on Thursday for sure. And I'm sure you'll hear the same from Luke tomorrow. As Spivey crosses the line, he's a 10th off. And that's the session over. So all in all, a good session, but Danos absolutely led the line from the start to the end of that session. He had pole from the first lap, and he kept it till the last 2/10 the margin. Good times from the Dutch driver, providing us with the graphics that you've just seen earlier and the graphics that have been doing the rounds around the server. So credit to him on all fronts, really. And now we wait for the main event to start. Now, thankfully, I have some live data like we had last week, except this time it's even better. We have the live constructors and the live drivers, and I believe, now I haven't been able to test this prior to the session because you have to have the session data to be able to see it, obviously. So I'm going to turn it on at some point. I need to resize it, try and match it up with the grid table that you would see on the screen. So you'll bear with me for that, just sort of final tests before Season 6, before it kind of launches properly in Season 6. So I'll get that running once the formation lap, well, once the first couple of laps have concluded, and fingers crossed it portrays the data, and fingers crossed my OBS setup has worked. It worked earlier, so nothing's stopping it from working now, I would hope. So it looks like we've got blue skies. I can't imagine there's any rain forecast for this session. A few clouds, but nothing too dramatic. So the drivers will be hoping for a completely dry race, nice easy going, no changing conditions. Some drivers I'm sure would like that, but others not so much. 30 seconds till the formation up then, and then we'll be nearly underway. I'm going to have a little bit of another drink. The numbers are racking up, guys. Thank you for watching. Let's get as many likes. Wait, where's the button? There it is. Let's get some likes going on to get the stream with some engagement, and let's try and get over 20 viewers. That is the normal goal every week, and we're nearly there. So let's keep that up. Predictions in chat. Anyone want to put the lives on the line? Not the lives, that's a bit dramatic. Any predictions on the champion? Any predictions on the podium? First DNFer, first lap, incidents, etc., etc. Let me know, and we'll see if anyone gets anything right. So the drivers head around. Danos leads the line. Matty, the championship leader, as things stand. Obviously, Danos has closed the margin by a point after taking the pole position point there. So he'll be looking to obviously hold on to that and hope that Matty can, hope that Matty makes a mistake. If not DNF, I believe a DNF is realistically the only way that Goran Potner can win the title tonight. Let's just remind, I'm just going to use this to remind myself of what things look like. Yeah, it's Goran Potner 32 points off and Danos not quite in it. So Goran Potner could have done with that point. So he'll be hoping for a Matty DNF. Let's take a look at the tyres then. All of the field select the medium compound tyre, aside from Inorganic, Goey and Spivey. Even Ruza at the back, he's opted for the medium, so he wants a fast start off the line. Let's see if that causes any complications. And Inorganic starting on those hards could cause complications for the guys in behind him, the 5 drivers in behind him. There's quite a big gap there to Ruza and Spivey. They're not even heading downhill yet. And Danos is already on the line. Now, I'm going to use this opportunity to try and get a good camera angle. I believe this is all we're going to get, is it? Just a low lying camera angle. If this is all we're going to get, I might ride on board with somebody. But this is what we've got then. So let's check with Goran Potner for the lights. We've got 5 lights then, and for the final time this season, RPM First Division is underway, and Rusty's already picked up a drive-through penalty. Danos has got a brilliant start, he's already up, and look at that, Snellhank on those cold tyres is already past Goran Potner. Zabiaka finds himself up as well. No incidents so far. There's a Red Bull on the grass, and Zabiaka, Goran Potner moves up the inside of the McLaren, takes him, and wheel to wheel there by the 2 in behind, Zabiaka and Ivor. Callum's dropped down a position, and Danos holds the lead of the race. Matty goes wheel to wheel with him as they head down towards the hairpin. But Danos holds on to the lead. Matty in behind, then Goran Potner in P3. Snellhank, the top 4, stay the same. And there's a spinner there. It's Zabiaka. The championship has maybe just been decided, because that is Zabiaka. The advantage that the Aston Martin team had coming into this, with Leakey not being around, has just been cancelled. You'll still get the points, because there's only 13 drivers. Obviously we have points down to 13th, but that is not the start that Aston Martin wanted. Let's ride on board with Matty as he looks to put pressure on Danos in these early stages. Goran Potner waiting in behind as well. He's half a second back. All drivers still within the same kind of window as one another. Let's take a look at the position changes as well. Goey's up 4 places. He's had the best start. As we saw, Zabiaka Not a good start for him. Danos crosses the line. Ivor, Rusty's had to pit to serve that jump start penalty. So he will head toward the back of the grid. That promotes Zabayaka up into P12. So Ivor and Goey find themselves in a great position. But no battles going on at the moment. Most drivers quite spaced out. The closest battle we've got is Callum challenging for P6. But nothing giving there. And Goey the same on Ivor for P5. But Matty will have DRS very shortly. And they look to make a move on Danos. So Goran Potner needs to stay in this battle if he's going to stand any chance at the Drivers' Championship tonight. We've got Callum looking to make a move. Is he going to go up the inside of the chicane? No, he's stayed behind. He's going to look to get a better exit. He's ran a little bit wide. And that's allowed Goey to sort of get away ever so slightly again. No DRS just yet. It'll be enabled as the drivers cross the line, and it will be ready to use as they head on to the fourth lap of the race. In fact, no, is it enabled now? No, it is not. So race control, enable DRS. And Callum all over the back of the AlphaTauri. It looks like he's got the pace over him. Goey's used more ERS already in these opening stages, and Callum gets that rear wheel into the gravel, into the grass. Keeps it together though, keeps it on the track. Jones right behind his teammate. We don't want any collisions between the two Red Bull drivers. We've hit the target, guys. Well done. 22 viewers in chat. Let's keep that number going as the action unfolds in these opening laps. So nothing giving yet. No positions have really been taken aside from on lap 1. No clean, nothing caught, and Callum makes a mistake. He's going to let Jones by. He has to really, and he rejoins the circuit with enough space to inorganic. So now that frees up Jones to try and attack the AlphaTauri ahead. Ivor's dropping back massively, 3 seconds the gap to the McLaren in front, so he doesn't quite have the pace to keep up with those drivers, although he had an electric lap 1. So Jones will be fancying this, absolutely. He's 0.6 behind and only 2.5 seconds behind Ivor, so if he can keep it together on those medium tyres. There's an issue in Sector 3. Trouble is I can't see the final 2 corners on the track map, so I can't see who it is, but there was no yellow flags. They cleared up fairly quickly. Organic closing in behind Callum. He's lost a little bit of momentum. He's on the medium tyre though, so Callum will look to stay ahead. Oh, and who's that off? Jones is off. Both Red Bulls have made a mistake in similar corners. One lap after the next, so all that hype I was giving Jones about potentially trying to take Ivor in the next couple of laps, all of a sudden he finds himself down in P11, and Zabayaka, what's happened to him? He's gone off the road as well. I caught Jones at a bit of an odd angle there. Does that mean Zabayaka's made a mistake, gained that position, and now he's lost it again? Rosa had an off as well, so Jones regains 1 position. Seconds appearing all over the place. It's just Matty. This gives me an opportunity then to trial out this driver's standings table. Jones has picked up a penalty. He's had to change his front wing. He's sped in the pit lane. So let's see if this feature is going to work. It's going to block the thing. I'm going to reposition this so that we get a nice view of it. And then I'm going to resize it a little bit. Like this. It's just a little bit narrow. I can fix that for next season. But there it is then. Here's the live table as things stand. Matty leads. Danos and Goran Potner tied on points for P2, so that's a battle that we can keep our eyes on. And the guys in behind the swap places. Snellhank's moved up into P6, taking Sinful, who isn't racing tonight, so that's a big loss there. But all eyes on this top three, the battle for P1 and the battle for P2, with a 35-point margin between Matty and Goran Potner. So Goran Potner really has to hope that Matty makes a catastrophic mistake. He did last week, but he regained it back to P2, so it's not the end of the world. And he's one of the few drivers inside of DRS. Same goes for the constructors table. Haas lead again just by 1 point as things stand. Zabayaka being at the back gives Aston Martin minimal points, minimal gains. But the same goes for Haas. All that rests on Matty's shoulders. He's got responsibility for both titles tonight, and he's certainly putting the pressure on Danos here. It's only a matter of time before he looks to make a move. So 492, 491 points between Haas and the Aston Martin, so we'll keep checking on that as we go. McLaren have taken P5, which you might have expected from Snellhank. There's no Ferraris on track tonight. Elsewhere, everything remains the same. Backer's joined us. Good evening to you, Backer. Are we about to see a move for the race lead? Let's check. Danos has a little bit more ERS to use, only about 10% to defend with over Matty. Let's see who gets the better exit. Matty's going to have DRS and he's very close, half a second. But it looks as though Danos is running a lot of a slimmer rear wing than Matty. He's gaining time on Matty even under DRS, so that is the critical difference in the setups then. Matty will be better in the corners. But Danos has the advantage under DRS particularly. I was keeping my eyes on Inorganic and Callum, who are getting quite close as they head through. In fact, Inorganic could be on for a move. He's side by side with the Red Bull, who's taking a very, very tight inside line. Inorganic moves around the outside. Callum wants nothing on that. He lets him by, and I think he might have picked up 2 track limits warnings in one set of corners there. So that's 3 seconds to him. And Inorganic picks off Callum the Red Bull up into P7. Ivor's holding steady here, runs wide a little bit there, but he's holding on to P5. He's got the pace over Goey in behind, still 1.6 seconds, but 5 seconds down on Snellhank, who is 4.5 seconds off the top 3. So gaps starting to appear all over the place. Callum still close in behind, but only a few drivers really in contention for an overtake as things stand. I'm going to join Matty as he opens DRS once again. Nothing given there. That low rear wing from Danos could be the difference maker tonight. Matty will get more and more frustrated as the race goes on that he can't take the lead. That might lead to a mistake. All Goran Potner has to do is keep it steady. Realistically, nothing he can do tonight will change the outcome of the championship. It's all on Matty. A mistake from Matty changes everything. Goran Potner's just got to keep it on the road and keep it in some decent points, which he's doing as it stands. But Matty in these corners with a little bit more downforce is really starting to gain on Danos. It would be interesting to know the tyre differences, but we don't have that tonight. Okay, Smith, I get you. I'm not going to risk. Oh, who's that off? Inorganic? Inorganic is off. He's on the racing line. The Alfa Romeo safety car. We've got a safety car. That's a bit premature, I think, there. Not really any need for a safety car, but that will see most of the medium runners box. Danos is thinking about whether he wants to go in or stay out, and he goes in, as does Matty, as does Goran Potner. Now the tyre guys on the hards, Goey, he should stay out. He doesn't. Well, the mediums aren't going to go to the end. Spivey, surely Spivey will stay out. Yes, he does. Correct decision. Inorganic comes in. He may have lost the front wing in that, so he might box for that reason. This is prime for Jones if he can get himself round. He's quite a way back, but he won't have to box again. Ivor's gone onto the softs. Not sure what that's about. And who was the other guy who came in off of the hards? Was it Goldwyn, I think? He's gone onto the mediums. And they won't last, so he's going to have to box again as well. If I was on the hards, I definitely would have stayed out there. But we'll see what Ivor fancies on these soft tyres. Not sure how long they'll last around here. So Spivey inherits the lead of the race as things stand. Goran Potner still just one position behind Matty, all important. Now, I don't think we did any press room stuff this week, did we? No, we didn't. So there's nothing to talk about from that level, which is fine. So while this goes on, I'm gonna hydrate, have a little snack. Okay then. So Jones has pitted again. That may have been to get rid of that 5-second penalty. That may influence the safety car. It could have gone in this lap, I think, if all the cars were together, although it probably wouldn't have. But Jones Blasphemy is now 43 seconds down. And he's just served the penalty. I don't think he's changed his tyres unless he's gone back onto the hards that he's had. I'm not sure. We've got Wester Boy with us tonight again. And Cosmo supporting his fellow Mercedes teammate. Rooting for Danos to go on and win this race, which in the opening third or so of this race, it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. So safety car will stay out for one more lap. Very, very interesting to see how Ivor's call goes there on the soft tyre, because they're going to be 3 laps old, obviously, by the time the safety car comes in. They'll be nice and warm. But I think around most of these circuits, you find that they don't really last any more than 6, 7, 8 laps. So he's going to have to make the absolute most of that to try and take a few cars in front. But again, he's going to be hoping for another safety car in by lap 20, let's say, which I feel like is asking quite a lot. That's a nice little shot, isn't it? As they head through Memory Blank Tosa. There it is. the hairpin of turn 7. I'll have these memorised by next year, I'm sure. The more I race, the more I remember. Piratella is next, and the Aqua Minerale downhill. The more I say it, the more I'll remember it. And the Variante Alta and the Ravazza. That's it. There's only like 7 of them. Can't be that hard. But the safety car will be in this lap, or at least it better be. It's across the sector line, and it hasn't said. There it is, race control. Safety car will be in this lap. So it's right on board with Matty at least, or we will once we get underway. There's a little bit of a gap there between the Aston Martin there, Zabi Yaka, nearly 2 seconds. So the cars behind him will be egging him on to get his foot down and get on with it. Now, Spivey has got a good chance here, but on those old tyres, he has to go early, really. He has to punch it out of the final corner. And he's opted not to, which is very questionable. He's left himself very, very exposed here. No way Spivey leads going into turn 1 at this point. He should have bolted it out of the final corner. He hasn't. He's invited Danos to go alongside, who inherits the lead of the race once again, and more importantly splits Matty. And Goran Potner is looking up the inside. Spivey on those old tyres, and Goran Potner goes around the outside of Matty. Matty's down to P4, nearly loses it, and now the McLaren goes by. And now Goey goes by. An absolute disaster restart for Matty there, and Goran Potner has put some daylight in between him and the Haas. Obviously it's not over yet. The points there will bring up the table once things have settled down. But Matty was ever so close to dropping it there, and if he put it in a wall, that could have and probably would have changed the entire face of the Drivers' Championship. And Goran Potner now up to P2, so he's absolutely flying on those fresh hards. Spivey really struggling. The alternative strategy was maybe just a little bit off the window. He's still going to have some pace on those tyres, but he struggled to hold his position. The restart that he opted to do didn't help either, I don't think. Ivor has also dropped down some positions, so I'm not sure if that soft tyre strategy was the one, but Goey's the one to watch here on those medium tyres. He's got to make up some positions in the next few laps before they start to drop off themselves. Snellhenk holds P4, he started there. But Matty very close in behind Goey. Now crucially, all these overtakes that Matty has to pull off only opens the door for a mistake. As Snellhenk moves up the inside, he's got to be very cautious. Matty's got 3 cars going slowly in front of him. Nearly got himself on those sausage curbs. He can't do too much too soon. Otherwise, he could really cost himself here. The AlphaTauri gives him the room, cuts back inside as he's entitled to do. And he looks to dive up the inside of the Alfa Romeo, and Matty's been touched, has he, by Ivor? I think Matty was touched there by Ivor. Holy God. Right. Oh, dear me. So Ivor on those soft tyres has made contact. I believe he made contact. I didn't capture it, but I think he did. Apologies if he didn't, but I believe he did. And that puts Matty in P12. Let's make use of this then, and let's see. Rusty's taking an organic. Are there any gaps closing that I might want to catch? Let's have a look. Sabiyaka going wheel to wheel with Ivor, even on those hard tyres. And Goey. Now, let's bring it up. It's a good time now. Let's see what's happening here then. Oh my God, would you look at that? There's 1 point in it. The fastest lap could decide the championship if things stay like this. Matty's got a long drive ahead of him. Goran Potner could take 1 more position and take the lead of the championship as things stand. 1 point in it. Danos is even not out of it at this point. He's only 6 points behind them, but he obviously leads the race, so he would have to have Goran Potner drop off and Matty the same for him to stand a chance. But this has blown the whole thing wide open. Shades of last week, really. Matty put himself in the wall at turn 3 or turn 2 last week. Obviously kept it alive, thankfully. And he regained. Oh, and he's made it. Oh no, he's boxed. He's boxed. Okay. I thought he'd made a mistake because he was last. He goes onto a fresh set of medium tyres with 16 laps to go now. Again, I would be hard pressed to believe that they'll go the distance. And crucially, now that he's last, does that mean Goran Potner joined. Goran Botner is now joint. This is great. We have a joint championship as things stand. 324. Danos is now even closer to the pair of them. He's only 5 points off taking this. It's not over yet. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. It's not over yet, and the constructors, Aston Martin, have taken the lead. So they could have gone from Haas's day. What have I said in the past? A Haster class to a disaster class, or whatever I said before. Aston Martin have taken the lead in the constructors, and Goran Botner is looking very close. Well, okay, he's not very close to Danos, but as things stand, Matty has got one hell of a time ahead of him over the next 15 laps. Now I'll need to settle down because that was all crazy and I haven't stopped speaking for a hell of a long time. So that's right on board with some other people. Gaps are appearing all over the place. Mixed pace seemingly around here tonight. Now crucially, even if Ivor, again, I'm assuming Ivor made contact in the rear of the Haas. Even if he did, the penalty won't affect the championship because it didn't involve Danos or Goran Botner. So it would really be quite needless, I think, for Matty to lodge a report against him there. However, Ivor does find himself down in P12, so it'll only be a matter of time before Matty's all over him. And I can imagine he'll be very, very keen to get past him. So there could be fireworks there in the next couple of laps as he looks to get on board. Now somehow, in all the excitement, the viewership has gone down, so people are missing an absolute corker here. With the championship tied, it's like 2021 all over again. The championship tied with only 16 laps to go, halfway through this race, just about. And it's all to play for. Now, Goran Botner probably isn't aware exactly where he is on track, but he'll be able to see that the Haas is quite far behind. He'll know that he's last if he looks at the track map, but he probably doesn't know what that means in terms of points on the board. Danos goes a little bit deep. He's got the pace to hold on to Goran Botner, and Matty sets the fastest lap. Crucially, takes those points. Now, I'm not sure how long it takes for these standings to update. Oh no, sorry, Schmidt said that doesn't work yet. So, we need to add 2 points for as long as Matty has the fastest lap. So currently, Matty has a 2-point cushion. And he's last. So, Goran Botner now has to hope that Danos makes a mistake. Otherwise, I believe it will be impossible for him to win the title if things stayed the same. Now, Matty's going to pull his way through the field. So realistically, he's going to gain some points as he goes. Still in Matty's hands. He just has to drive safe and not make any more mistakes. But as we keep alluding to, a DNF changes everything. Let's see then who's close by. Not too many people. Matty has gained over 1.5 seconds in a lap alone, so he is going to be all over the back of Ivor. Possibly down the main straight. We've got Luke joining us. Good evening to you too, Luke. Yep. Championship taking a turn at every corner pretty much here. You never know what's going to happen. So Matty's going to enable DRS. And the tyres are really going to come into play. Matty will not, I don't think, will finish the race on these medium tyres. So he's going to have to hope for another safety car. Unless he pushes them all the way, but that just increases the risk of DNF. No one else is really that close behind. Ivor's ran very far wide there. Keeping our eyes on Goey, who may make a move into turn 1. Let's ride on board with this then. He's got the overspeed. Is he going to commit? It would be unwise to at this point. I think he stays in behind. And he takes a lot of curb there. That could easily unsettle the car and send him spinning round, but he finds himself just 3/10 behind the McLaren in P3. He wants the podium. I believe the one last week was taken from him post Stewart's penalties. So he will want that to change. Oh, safety car. Who is that? Who, what, where, why, and how? It is Inorganic. Inorganic's made a mistake. Was it him earlier in the same corner? And again, a premature safety car out on track. I swear that's the exact same thing. No one DNF'd. I think it might not have been Inorganic, but I think it was Inorganic in the same wall, in the same corner. Obviously, the rules around here being that you can't rejoin the track, which is fair enough. But I think that, with him facing the wrong way, triggers the safety car because he's stayed stationary. So Callum stays out and inherits the lead of the race. Danos pits onto some fresh mediums, which at this point will probably go the distance. They will go the distance. Goran Potner joins him on that. Goey the same. He's back on the medium tyres. Snellhenk the same. Zabi Yaka comes in. Everyone banging on a fresh set of mediums. I think there'll be a couple of drivers that don't have that option. And Organic comes in and his team wait at the end of the pit lane. He's got no front wing after that incident there. He also bangs on a fresh set of mediums. What's that penalty for Callum at the front? Just 3 seconds. Rusty the same. Ivor stays out and picks up a few free places. Matty boxes again. He opts for a set of hard compound tyres. Used hard compound tyres. So he's at a big disadvantage at this point. I'm not going to lie. He will be, well, I don't know what kind of personality he's got, whether he's calm and collected or whether he's quite frustrated with himself. Or not with himself, it wasn't his fault. But you know how drivers can be. What do they call it? Is it a red or a green driver or something like that? I don't know what he is. But we'll soon see. It's going to be a difficult restart with everyone in the slipstream and the DRS train, and he's going to be stuck at the back on those used hard tyres. Come the end of the race, though, he could be in a better position. Yeah, Inorganic and Ivor, again, if I'm right about that contact, have absolutely spiced up not only the race, but the entire championship. So let's remind ourselves, for anyone who hasn't seen this tonight, here are the live standings. So Matty has inherited the lead because of the fastest lap point. Now let me just see if I can... Is there a way I can confirm who has that? There you go. So let's just move this away again. So the fastest lap is currently Matty, clear by a second, more or less. So great lap from him, and crucially we have to remember to add 2 points on to that. Smith, if you're still in here, if you can just confirm that is right and you haven't fixed that in the last hour. Let me check, because you messaged me before. Let me see. I'll bring this back up just so you guys can have a good look and take it in while we're under safety car conditions. Meanwhile, I'll see what Smith said to me. Fastest lap should be working. Okay. Okay. So the fastest lap point should be working, he says. So we shouldn't have to add anything else on to what we see on our screens now. So Matty with the fastest lap, crucially, that could be vital to come the end of the race. And Goran Potner will have to take a position. Obviously, I think he's dropped down a few places because Callum stayed out. So once he boxes again, we will see. And just like that, before you know it, the safety car is back in. Jones back at it again. He made 7 pit stops last week and he's made 5 around here. His pit crew must absolutely love him. And tyres, let's leave those just like that. So everyone's pretty much on mediums, and I want to catch Callum, who again holds the pack up. I'm not sure what people think they're going to achieve by doing this. They're just kind of letting the slipstream happen. Oh, and deep there. That's going to cost Callum some time. As Danos, don't be too greedy here, Danos. The time will come. He's on those tyres. He's going to get the switch back and he's going to absolutely just fly around him. Callum's gone off the track. He should have boxed, really. And now he has to just sit there and let every single driver pass him by. Ruza finds himself toward the back. And Callum rejoins in behind his teammate. So that has promoted Matty ahead. The Alfa Romeo has taken the Williams. But now Matty is the next driver in behind these two. We've got Snellhang 2/10 behind the Aston Martin in behind. So Goran Potner really needs to take Danos if he wants to stand a chance here. Zabayaka and Goey go through the chicane. Maybe not wheel to wheel, but they swap positions halfway through there. So great driving for them both to keep it on track. Let's see what kind of positions Matty can get. Obviously he's not going to quite have the grip like these guys do at the minute, but come the end of the race things could change. So Luke reckons off his maths, which I would trust to be perfectly honest, he thinks the fastest lap isn't working based off what it says at the moment. So let's hope that come the end of the race there's a bigger margin than 2 points, so we can just forget about that. If it's still a 2-point margin, then that's going to be a bit of an issue to be confirmed. But I think it's more likely than not that there'll be a bigger gap than just 2 points. So we should be able to confirm a champion by the end of the race as Matty looks to make his way through the field. And then Organic's got a little bit of a poor exit there, and Matty picks up that place. Brings more points up to his tally, and Inorganic isn't fighting that one. Spivey is next for the championship leader. And Danos is making that gap last once again. He's got the pace, he's got the quali pace and the race pace over Goran Potner. So I think Goran Potner can just hope that he can hold on to what he's got realistically. But crucially, Danos sets the fastest lap of the race. So Smith and Luke have worked together there to tell us that if we don't think the fastest lap points are being added, so we need to do that manually. Oh, and Matty kind of half thought about putting a wheel at the inside there, chose not to. So we need to add 2 points to whoever finishes the race with the fastest lap. And as things stand, that is Danos. That won't change things too much, but it puts Danos now just 3 points behind Goran Potner. So a mistake from Goran Potner will promote Danos into P2, but Matty slowly extending that gap as he picks his way through the field. 7 points clear as things stand without the fastest lap. Is Matty going to put a wheel up the inside before the chicane? He will be silly to. Holds what he's got. Wise, I believe. And the gap from P1 to P2 now over 2 seconds. That's just going to keep increasing as the race goes on. And Spivey's going to be a sitting duck here as Matty opens DRS and he moves to the outside and gets the move done before turn 1. And now as they head through into turn 2, Spivey's lost the move to Inorganic as well. No, he hasn't. He's taken it back off him there. But those two are battling, which allows Matty to get away ever so slightly more. Zabayaka, very, very close. And so is Goey, and Goey's spun. There's a yellow flag. Is the safety car going to come back out? He's going to have to keep it moving, otherwise it is. And he's done that. He's done that. So good. The safety car will not come back out. That promotes Ivor up into P5. Good position for him as things stand. But he's under pressure from Rusty in behind. Only slow through there, and Rusty has taken the position. Said thank you very much. I will take that. And Matty, all of a sudden, what's Ivor done? He's just let him pass there, I think. Ivor's just let Matty through, and he inherits P6. So that could decide the championship. Let's once again bring this up. Yep, he's running away with it now. 19 points the margin. Minus the 2 on Danos, but that doesn't really matter as things stand. So the drama that came about earlier with the contact has all been rectified. To be quite honest, it's probably either letting him through because he knew that he spun him around earlier, so we didn't want to get in his way again, which is good sportsmanship. Respect for that. But this is exactly what Matty did last week. Made the mistake, and in the end it didn't really matter. He could have won the race last week, but in the end P2 was the best damage limitation that he could have hoped for. And now he chases Rusty on those hard tyres. They're getting older and older as time goes on, but so are the mediums, so it's going to be quite an interesting battle to see who has the most grip as we head around for the final 7 or 8 laps of this championship. Only 2 drivers within DRS as things stand, although Jones and Callum are in or around it. Callum's just dropped out and dropped back in. Ivor picks up a 3-second time penalty himself. Ooh. Wow. That's interesting. Once I've finished eating, I will talk about that. So Matty moves past Rusty, but if you didn't notice there, Zabiyaka took the fastest lap off of Danos, and crucially, Aston Martin now driving P2 and P3. So if we take a look at the constructors, they have taken it. They're absolutely flying. As it stands, they are clear by 44 points, which was really always going to happen with Licky not being around today. But that has changed hands from earlier, as Haas led before the start of this race, and now Aston Martin crucially have those points, and we can add 2, so they're currently on 5.25 if we include Zabiyaka's fastest lap points even. But Matty is almost damage limitation now. He's only got something to clear, and then he's caught up with his main competitors again. Issue in sector 1, that's Danos. Danos is off. He's rejoined the circuit safely. But that's big. That's him done then. His championship is over. But that means Goran Potner has inherited the lead of the race, which somewhat closes the margin again, but it's not going to be enough. Yeah, it's not going to be enough unless Matty makes a mistake. So as it stands then, Goran Potner is relying on Matty to drop the ball once again, which I believe would be the 4th time in 2 races, so it's not impossible. But if Matty keeps driving the way he's driving, it seems unlikely. However, those hard tyres will be near the end of their life come the end of the race, so it could get a little bit hairy if Matty chooses to make a move, a late move let's say, in the next few laps, if he catches up with Zabiyaka for example. And Zabiyaka will get his elbows out if it means holding on to this 1-2 for Aston Martin, and not only that, if it means putting Matty off the title. Not condoning any bad sportsmanship, but you know what can happen sometimes. Elbows out leads to a little bit of over-aggression, and before you know it, you're both in the barrier. So penalties, let's take a look at that. Most guys just with the 3 seconds there, so nothing too big. No one's picked up multiple yet, thankfully. And let's just remind ourselves the fastest lap is still with Sabiaka critically. Issue, that's the Alpha Tauri, or Veruza, I believe. Is that going to bring the safety car back out? It looks like it's moving, so it looks like we're okay. Matty was unable to get by Snellhank. Whether Snellhank defended with ERS, or maybe he's running lower wings. If he is, that means Matty might have to do the move through a corner, which obviously poses a little bit more danger than just doing it down the main straight. All over the back of the McLaren gearbox here, and the Haas enabling ERS to try and get a better exit. Doesn't match him though. Let's check Snellhank's ERS a little bit more. Only 10% the difference, not much giving there. And Zabayaka realistically has got to just... Surely he's got to just hold off. He can't overtake his teammate and ruin the title hopes, you would think. So it's all coming to a head then in the final few laps of the season. We're about to cross the mark where the safety car can't come out anyway, so nothing can really change. Let's remind ourselves of these tyres. Both, to be honest, both the mediums and the hards are coming along toward the end of the life. And let's check this timing then. Snellhank is just gaining time. He's running far less wing. I think Matty would be wise not to push too hard here because he's got the title in the bag as things stand. 3 laps to go. And if he pushes too hard, he could make a mistake, and that could change everything. So once again, remind ourselves, he has that margin. 18 points the difference over Goran Potner, who can't do anything more. He leads the race. This is the maximum it's going to be. It's all down to Matty and whether he makes a mistake. And he gets right up behind Snellhank again there. It's just not worth the risk. And he's opened the door for Rusty, who's not going to dive up the inside. But now Matty is surrounded. He's about the only driver on the track that is surrounded. And this is going to make for some very interesting battles in the final 2 laps after they cross the line. Get the popcorn out. Snellhank, you'd think, given the last few laps, would stay ahead with this trimmed rear wing that he seems to be running. And Rusty is gaining more on Matty than Matty is to the McLaren. Pressure is on. This is about as much pressure as Matty will have felt probably all season. All he has to do is complete 2 more laps and the championship is his. We've got Ivor dropping down a position. I'm not going to switch away from this though, because this is where this is the business end of the championship. This is where the important racing is being done. No offence. Sabayaka still nicely just holding up the P2, which is a good thing to do. I'd be surprised he might not even be enabling DRS, even though he has it. He might just be letting him get on with it, which is good. A 1-2 for Aston Martin is exactly what they needed tonight, and it's exactly what they've got as things stand. Through the chicane for the penultimate time. He gets it through there. He's just got to do that one more time. One of the toughest corners on the track. And he's done it okay as things stand. Into the penultimate braking zone. As they head round the final corner. Turn 19, foot flat to the floor. Let's see then. Matty is very close this time. How is Snellhank going to defend? Is he going to be aggressive? Rusty's not quite going to be with it, but if those two go side by side, all of a sudden Rusty will be alongside, and Matty does put himself alongside. Now this is where it gets interesting. Snellhank stays ahead. Rusty puts a wheel up the inside. Nothing giving there though. The entire championship is in the hands of the driver in front and the driver behind. One mistake, that will cost Matty, and it's over. As we're on the final lap, they've done Sector 1 for the final time. 2 sectors to go. Ivor and Goey swapping positions as they exit Sector 1. Matty right up behind the gearbox of the McLaren once again. He's not going to send it into the chicane. That would be daft. Can he keep it together as he goes through? Yes, he can. He enables the RS very, very early there. Just not needed. He may not know. He may think he needs this position, but he doesn't. Goey and Ivor really battling at the back there. It's a shame I can't watch this. So it's a 1-2 for Aston Martin then. And Snellhen comes across to take P3. Matty, though, after mistakes early on, contact with Ivor. That is that. And Matty is crowned the first division champion for RPM Season 5. So congratulations to him. Big, big congratulations to him. But Aston Martin, crucially, after being second before the race, they win the Constructors. So happy days for everyone, really. Matty would have been very disappointed if it came out with nothing, but instead he takes the drivers, but the lack of a teammate tonight hands the Constructors over to Aston Martin. So there are your final standings, less the fastest lap point for Zabiyaka, which doesn't change anything either. So thankfully, in the end, that doesn't matter. Now, just in case Matty chooses to join me, I'm gonna unmute myself. And is that what I need to do? I think so. And we'll wait for the podium and whatnot to come up and see if he fancies joining us. Let me just do some messages, see if I can get him in. Congratulations flying through the first division chat for Matty. Everybody congratulating him on the championship. Very nice to see. And Aston Martin pick up a 1-2, which is great for them. I'm not sure if they've had one throughout this season. And crucially, for the all tiers, Snellhenk gets on the podium for McLaren. Now I heard something there. Is that Matty? It is Matty. Hello, Matty.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Right. I hope the stream can hear you. I think they will be able to. So let me just double check this. I'll see if I can listen to it myself before we get going. Yeah, give me 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, the stream can hear us. Well, yeah, mate, that was very good to
About
watch.
as stressful as it could have been.
It was, it really was. Now I'm going to talk you through some stages, but first of all, I mean, well done. Long season.
Thank you very much.
12 weeks. And in the end, I'm not sure if you've been listening to me or anything throughout the last hour, but you finished 18 points clear. So you've done. You had the cushion. You had the cushion.
Yeah, it was good battles though all year. Really, there was some good pace in there.
There was. So tell me about it then. You started well. You couldn't get on pole, but the rest, you stayed in the same position for the opening few laps, and sort of settled yourself into the race.
Yeah, qualifying was okay. It wasn't a great lap, but I was happy enough, and I felt quite comfortable for the first few laps, just sitting in behind Danos and trying to conserve a bit of ARS and build a gap, and then all going smooth until the safety car came.
Absolutely. And remind me, was that before or after the little contact? I believe it was contact at the hairpin, where you ended up at the back of the field.
Oh, that was after the safety car restart.
Okay, so that was after the safety car, and that was contact. I didn't quite catch it on stream. Was it a mistake, or was that?
Yes, so I think it was a mistake in front from, I can't remember who had the lead at the safety car that didn't box, that sort of slowed me up and almost Constantine a bit behind. I think me and Goran sort of rubbed a bit, and then it was 3 wide into that hairpin, which was never going to end well.
Yeah, and that obviously spun you around. But then from there, what was your clarity on the championship? Did you know that you were in a good position, or were you just thinking, let's just drive?
I didn't know. I knew if I got 8th, I was guaranteed it, but I didn't know much more than that who was at the front. So I was just trying to, at that point, I was just trying to think I could have got 9th. Yeah. Before there was someone like 30 seconds up the field was 8th. So I was just trying to get that and hope for another safety car.
Yeah, because that was the crucial part with the 2 Aston Martins in P1 and P2. You probably weren't aware of that until the back end of the race. I guess you may have seen them on your monitor.
Well, I saw Danos span out late, so I knew I was in with a good shot at that point. But yeah.
Right. Sorry, I'm just getting some stuff sorted here. Yeah. So obviously Licky didn't turn up today, so unfortunately you've handed the constructors over to.
I know, it's a shame. He
Martin.
A combination of Valentine's Day and his girlfriend's birthday, I think, was an unmissable one. Oh, wow. But no, it was a shame. But it was.
I mean, that maybe does take priority.
Yeah, he maybe could have raced tonight, but he might have had a different life from there on forwards.
Yeah, well, this is true. This is true. And all for an RPM constructors title. Well, some people would value that, others wouldn't.
I tried to persuade him.
Well, that's all you can do, isn't it, really?
Exactly.
So, remind me, is this, how many seasons have you had with us? Is it your first season? Or
I think I joined halfway through last season. Okay. Yeah, just sort of joined early mid last season.
And, I mean, you're probably aware my focus was on championship for the most of the season. So, it's only been the last few weeks I've sort of started to understand the drivers and stuff. So, when you joined last season, did you expect to be in this position, or have you sort of practiced a lot more and find the pace?
I've tried to practice. So I get on well with Smith in the division up. So we practice a bit together and trying to just cut out the mistakes. And that was the problem before. It's my first real few seasons league racing. So trying to just get rid of the mistakes that cost you big. And I sort of got better at that as the year went on.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you haven't had, I believe, I checked earlier, you haven't had any DNFs?
I don't think so. I had some issues earlier in the year finishing nearer the back with some spins and stuff, but I don't think I've not finished.
Yeah, I was checking that. There was only you and one other driver who haven't had someone else around you. I think maybe Danos had one, did not start, but no DNFs, but still that's drop points. So very consistent season, and in the end it's paid off, hasn't it? So there you go. You've got yourself your first bit of, well, I'll call it silverware, but it's probably not actually physical.
We'll go with it. We'll go silverware.
We will. And next season, you are still in first division, or are you moving up to championship?
Yes, no, I'm still here next season, but from the looks of it, there's going to be some good drivers coming in, so looking forward to it.
There are, yeah, full grid. Nearly 19 of 20 drivers signed up for first, so a good busy grid, and you never know what the competition is going to be like. Obviously, a few championship drivers dropping down because of the assists. So you never know, though. You've got to keep going, and you'll be the one to watch, I'm sure. Most people
looking forward to it.
You. So absolutely right. Well, if there's anything else you want to add, go ahead. But if
not,
I
just want to say thanks to everyone behind the scenes for running. I was in one league before this, and this is miles clear. So just thanks to everyone for helping.
That's good to know.
Put everything together.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's only going to get better, mate. We've got some new things to launch in the next couple of weeks.
Looking forward to it.
Watch the stream back, you'll see the live standings table that we brought up. So
I'll give it a watch later.
Yeah, it's been a good one. So congratulations again.
Cheers, mate.
And have a good week off. Absolutely, have a good week off, and we'll see you next couple of weeks for the next season.
You too. Good luck later in the week.
Thanks for joining as well. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Okay, so that was word there from the winner. So that's good. That's my first interview that I've held, I believe, probably since last season. So good to hear from him, and seems like a great lad. So happy that he's locked that in after the pressure was piled on. And that's it. Well, it's not like we've got a big break, as it will back next week for more pre-season action around Bahrain. I believe we'll be streaming those again. And then in a fortnight's time, we launch RPM Season 6 around Australia, the classic season opener from back in the day. So I hope you'll all join me for that when we have a few new features like I've just mentioned in and around. But that's going to be it from me tonight. Thanks to everyone who joined in chat and for a few responses and stuff in comms. Yeah, cool. That's all. So cheers. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week.